spot at? Well, there you are.
You know what's funny?
You wearing a button up with basketball shorts?
Yeah, I know.
I do it also. It's just funny to catch it on camera.
All
right. So good morning, everyone. Today is April 30th. It's crazy. It's already almost May. April 30th, 2021. This is StockCast, your pre-market show. My name is James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Todd, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. So let me tell you what happened. I had to run to the kitchen to grab something to drink, and I had my cell phone with me, which has the countdown timer, but the countdown timer is delayed. So yeah. I'm like, okay, I got to leave the kitchen by 12 seconds, 10 seconds to be in my chair. And I'm walking into my room, my office, and you're like, where's Todd? I'm like, oh, I forgot about the delay. Busted. Glad I had pants on.
I know. At least you didn't walk by in your underwear.
That's
that would
right.
have been funny. That would have been funny. All right, everyone. So currently, Dow futures are down 124 points. S&P 500 down 19 points. It's looking like we're gonna come out red this Friday, which is no surprise. But if it's like any other Friday, it's gonna be 100 and some odd points in the red, and then probably go 300 points green, and then pull back at the end of the day to go flat. And that's pretty much our stock market as of lately. So once again, we also have a very low volume pre-market, and this is to be expected until probably about August. It's just the way the seasons of the stock market turn. But we do have one to watch in the future. I think it'd be worth watching at least. And let's go ahead and get into it. This is ticker MTOS. And an update on the short interest. Current shares, last updated, being shorted, almost 3.3 million shares. Short percent on the float, 8.75. And for the shares outstanding, 46.8 million shares. And the float, 37.6. So the float and the shares outstanding, that's pretty decent. But they actually had news this morning, and that's what caused it to gap up, make this run like this pre-market. Excuse me. They actually had news this morning that they received FDA clearance to market their PureView system, and it has to deal with the upper GI tract. So that might be worth something to dig in more to. But with FDA clearance or FDA news, that's positive. And with it being a lower float or a smaller float stock, it's always worth watching, especially in the future. So we get this push up today, and for me, in a picture perfect world, I don't want this to break out just yet. And I'll kind of explain why as I go through this. So let me draw out some trend lines for y'all. So we'll go ahead and tag one right here at this pre-market high at 175. And we're now looking at the 1 year, 1 day chart. So I just want to see the overall big picture here. Okay. So one of the reasons why I don't want this to actually play out today is we'll start with this overall trend. We do have a decent amount of daily candlesticks here. Have a couple years worth. So going back to about February to 2018. And I would actually like to see this thing put a little bit more time onto this 1 year, well, not 1 year, but this daily chart. If we could put at least another 2 to 3 months going sideways, this would be a perfect setup in the future. But it's what we have to work with. So we obviously have to continue on here. So here is my pre-market high at 175, this yellow line. And actually let's change that color right there to not confuse it with any entries if we come up with one. We'll change it to pink. So 175 is our pre-market high. Now, we actually just came off of a pretty significant push right here. And then it pulled back, and then it gapped up today. So we haven't actually gave it enough time to sell off, run sideways before having another push up, which when that usually happens, all of these people who are caught in this downtrend, they plan to sell off pretty quickly. So in my opinion, this thing just popped off a little too early here, and it would have been better if it just trended sideways on the daily chart for a while before making this push. But hey, they released the news at this point. It's just what we have to deal with. So pre-market high right here, 175. We're currently sitting at 160, so it's pulled back a little bit. And what I am going to look for here in the future, let me draw out some more trend lines. So if this is the first time tuning in and you're seeing me draw these trend lines, basically what I'm doing is just going through here, trying to look smart, and just drawing random lines everywhere on the chart. Not really. I am drawing out the support and resistance lines. So if you were wondering that. All right. So pre-market high, the pink line. What I would like to see, well, what's probably going to happen today, it's already shown itself. This thing is probably going to just be a fader. It will probably push back up. It might even break that pre-market high, but it's going to end up getting shorted down and just fade into the sunset of this Friday. And that is because we literally just came off of this nice run already back here, and it popped off too soon. And so these people are going to be trying to get out. The bears are going to be coming in. And they're going to beat it right back down, probably between that 200 EMA and wherever this non-EMA opens up at. So we'll probably put it into the range between 144 and 120 overall in the future. And hopefully then we can go sideways. Because if we would go sideways on this daily chart after it pulls back, let things kind of settle down for a little bit, and then hopefully it goes sideways for at least 2-3 weeks or so. The longer, the better, actually. And if we could slowly trend up and break back above that 175, that's when this thing will probably start turning around pretty good and then really start to rip up. Probably start to see some gappers on the daily chart above 175. So as it turns out, that 175 is going to be my breakout point. And we should really see some significant momentum once we break above 195 in the future. Overall, let me actually erase some of these lines now. Just so I can see the chart a little better. All right. So if we can get that scenario that I just said about it pulling back, going sideways on the daily chart for the next few weeks, maybe a month or so, and then slowly break back above 175, that's when I'll be okay with making my entry. Now, if it happens today, I don't plan on entering today. Like I said, it's probably going to be a fader. I expect it to be a fader, pull back, and just kind of do its thing. But 175 for my entry in the future. And once we get to the point where we're actually breaking above this range right here, I'll change this to a blue line. So this value at 288. Actually, let me move it up just a few more cents. Didn't see that spike back here. So actually 303. So once we break above 303, so break above this high back here, this thing really has the potential to sell off. I mean, not sell off, to really like kind of like sell up into the air, since it's more so of a low float. Now, if that would happen, I'm going to look for that target price to be between that 303 range on up to about right here at 406. And that's just if it's just kind of like general news or just naturally pushing up. Now, if they release another significant like catalyst after we just had this one, and if it trends sideways, there'll be more people to pounce on this, more eyes on this, then my target price will be my like grand total overall. The big one will be right here at about 790. So this is what I'm looking for right here in ticker MOTS. And again, if this thing breaks above 175 today, I'm not entering it, because I do expect this thing to pull back again and just fade away. So yeah, that's what I see for that one. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about it. So good morning to everyone who is tuning in right now. Let's take a run through the comments really quick. Todd,
Not a lot going on in there.
oh, okay.
It's a slow day.
Let's see. All right, here's actually a decent question. Excuse me. Man. Jahil Parker, my man, looking sharp in that picture. Look at him. Oh, Todd, you probably can't see it online. It's going to show up on YouTube, though.
I can see it.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Do you pay more attention to the float or short percent of the float?
Yes.
What? I was about ready to answer, and you caught me off guard with that. I pay more attention to the float. Actually, more so than the float, I pay more attention to the outstanding shares. The outstanding shares is what I care about over everything else. The float is irrelevant to me. It's the outstanding shares that truly matter. A lot of people, the retail trading industry screwed this up for everyone on the internet by making everybody believe that the float is the key number, the key thing to look out for. It is not the float. It is the outstanding shares. The float is going to happen naturally, and the float is going to change as time goes on. The outstanding shares, if there's just way too many shares on the market, it's going to bog it down from making a move. Now, if there's few shares on the market, the slightest, stupidest thing, positive or negative, could send that small share structure shooting up into the air. That's why I care about the outstanding shares over everything else. So hopefully that answers your question. That is a great question right there.
Dan's asking about the POAI offering. He's saying there's no way to know how many shares is there. Well, so until after they sell.
So with that S3, the S3 is, it's not like a direct offering in the sense of when you see them post a direct offering or a secondary public offering, where they usually say, hey, we're going to sell 13 million shares. It's not like that. They're looking to raise, X amount of money. And in order for them to raise X amount of money, they need their stock to go up for whatever their plan is. They're going to need their stock to go up to a certain range so they can execute that. Now with POAI, and I'll pull it up on the chart for us.
The offering is for $250 million, and it's a lot easier to raise 50 million shares at $5 versus 250 million at $1.
Yeah, like right here in this $1 range, they're not gonna dilute it right here. And the reason why is, I mean, they literally have to lay out 200 plus million shares into the market, and it would kill their company. Their CEO would probably get fired. Their CFO would get fired. They'd probably end up being delisted because it would push them under $1 and it would keep them under $1 to where they probably wouldn't be able to get out of that situation. So they need this thing to pump up, and they will do something in the future to cause this to pump up, especially to raise that much capital. They obviously have big plans, and they will make it happen. So, like I was saying a moment ago, it's not like a normal offering where you see a company state that they're going to sell 13 million shares. You know, they already had a plan. They actually already did it. This is just filing to let everybody in the industry know that, hey, from time to time in the future, if we see a good opportunity to start bringing in some money for our company, we're going to sell off some shares. And that's good for us because their incentive is to actually make their PPS value go up. It does them no good, and it does us no good if they start diluting it when it's in these lower ranges right here, because they know that once they start selling shares, there's really not, if they start doing it too early, they're just going to kill their opportunity to actually make more money in the future by diluting it when it's this low. So they have no choice but to make it go up. And so when they're trying to raise, especially a large quantity, like, you know, we're talking $250 million here. They're trying to raise this. They're going to do something significant to really send this thing up in the air. And then that is when they'll start selling shares. So at that point, for us who are in this like $1 range, if they push it up over $4, $4 or $5, who cares? I mean, unless if you're like a long-time investor for this company, and I highly doubt anyone is, it's all about just making money. So if you turn a 3, 4, 5, 6x profit here, who cares how many shares they drop on this thing? Really, if they get this thing up to $5 and they want to cash in and make that $250 million, stream of money come into them, who cares? We'll just move our stop losses up as this thing plays out, and we'll catch it. We'll catch our profits and move on. So yeah, with this S3, you'll see two different kinds of them. You'll see the ones that will say X amount of shares that they're selling and that they've already sold, or you'll see the ones talking about they're wanting to raise a certain amount of money in the future. And that's what we care about, is how much money they want to raise in the future, because they haven't sold it yet. And we're on the ground floor right here. So once they actually do start selling, it'll be once this stock pushes up, and at that point, we won't care. We'll be sitting in such nice profits, in my opinion, that they could drop 1 billion shares on the market and it wouldn't matter to us.
And we'll be able to tell
the
price that they want to sell at, because it'll become a natural resistance, and it'll show up on the level 2. You'll see hidden seller, most likely a hidden seller. It'll try not to be visible. So we'll be able to tell what price they're targeting. So really, I mean, if I had to, and this is just my opinion right here, I really can't see them trying to raise money under $4. I actually think that they'll try to start raising it once it breaks around $5, in my opinion. It's easier to honestly double your share structure in the end than to do it right now, where you would literally like 5 times your share structure.
Like increase your share structure like 1,000%. I mean, literally. Yeah, I mean, it would be just astronomical. So $5 and above, or $4 and above, actually, but really $5 and above, that's where I see them start trying to make some money selling shares. I can't see it any sooner. It just, to me, it just would not make sense to do it any sooner. Because at the end of the day, like, they have to continue on and keep their stock open in the market to where they can use it as a resource to raise money. They just can't dump that many shares into the market and forever just kill that, this little cash cow that they could create here. So that's just my opinion with ticker POAI, Predictive Oncology, and we'll just have to see what they do in the future. But we'll never know actually how many shares that they sell overall until we get, like, heck, who knows? I mean, it could be a year down the road by the time they finalize making $250 million.
I was looking at the S3 real quick. I was going to see if there was a date on it of when they had to be done with it, because Ryan's asking the question, what are they going to use the money for? In the S3, they talk about using it for operating expenses, research and development, and new ventures. So literally, they've got something in the pipeline, and they probably have a payroll of scientists and researchers and biochemists and CEOs, etc. They probably have a burn rate, and the burn rate is like what they're paying their staff monthly. And so depending on what their cash flow is today, they might have to do something very quickly to raise some money, or if they're sitting on cash, this could be 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the road. That we don't know, but we definitely know something's going on. Something else you can look up and review. James and I talked about this in the pre-market before we got going here. They just added a new CEO a little over a month ago, and they added a new board member. And if you look at these two people's track records and the companies they've been involved in, they've literally been people who've been involved in companies that have increased smaller companies into much, much, much higher valuation companies. So I guarantee you these people aren't joining this for a $1 stock. They're joining this because they're expecting to make a lot of money off this also.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Got a comment right here from Surfing Dragon. I know how much you love Disney, James. So what do you think about reopening today? So last year for months, man, I chased Disney trying to short that damn thing and lost every time. Lost every freaking time. So, I mean, it just got to the point where I don't trade Disney. So what I think about Disney reopening today, I'm bearish on it.
I can't go over lifetime, so I'm bearish.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
Someone asked a question about if a stock pops off. Tony asked the question, if a ticker jumps pre-market, say around between 4 and 6 a.m., which happens quite often, you can't trade your broker until 7 a.m., what then? Well,
yeah,
be ready at 7 a.m. or find a new broker.
And I'll be honest, I keep all my bullish shares, all my bullish trades in TD Ameritrade also. And my account was set up. Actually, Todd, I actually didn't tell you this. But my account originally was set up to where I could trade at the very opening of pre-market. And when I was talking to a lot of people in the Transparent Traders group or in the TTBB subscription, and I kept telling everybody, yeah, trade pre-market. And everybody was like, I can't do it until what, like 7 a.m., I think. Yeah, 7 a.m. Eastern. And I was like, why not? Go get a new broker. And everybody was like, I have TD Ameritrade. And I was like, well, I do too. And I can trade when the pre-market opens. So they're actually they actually did away with that entire program. I was just apparently one of the last ones to have it. And when I got approved for, like, TD Ameritrade has these like secret programs, and I didn't even know that they did until about 3 months ago. But they have a hard to borrow program, and that is basically for shorting. And it's, as of right now, it's not a great program. to get shares to short with. But I got approved for it. They put me in the program. And that is when they, I guess, realized that, oh, this is an account that we haven't covered yet, to change it. And yeah, that's when they killed my pre-market opening trading. Had I known they was going to catch it because of that, I would never join that stupid program.
Oh, I didn't know that you. Yeah, that was So some of these TD Ameritrade programs, because I called and asked about them, with the merger with Schwab buying TD Ameritrade, they had some different service levels. That's why they're trying to merge their programming together. That makes sense for them. So sorry to hear that, buddy.
Yeah, it sucks because they're trying to get shares to short with. It's impossible. Like, yeah, I've yet to actually get any shares available to short on anything that's running that day. It doesn't make any sense. And I've blown up they have like a small customer service, kind of like how CenterPoint does, where they have like a small little team running it, because really there's not too many people doing it. And their customer service is pretty good. So they're pretty responsive, but
when you call them, do you hear people in the background giggling?
No.
They're like, it's James Mason again. He's looking. Hey, James, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah. They're probably like, hey, Bob, play with him. Tell him, like, oh, there's shares available. Let him go ahead, get his first however many shares he wants. And then when he goes to get more shares, only give him like 12 more. And then say that's it. And that's another thing I don't like about the program is you can't reserve your short locates, unlike you can with like CenterPoint. And so the reason why that's an issue is, let's just say I have it planned to use 5,000 shares overall to short something with. Well, on CenterPoint, I can locate 5,000 shares that will be dedicated for me only.
All day.
They're like, I can use them, if I short and then cover, I have them again to use over and over as many times as I want, like that. Well, with this TD Ameritrade program, this hard to power program, can't do that. Like they literally told me it's first come, first serve. So if my plan is to use 5,000 shares overall to make this trade happen today, and I start scaling in, and let's just say I get in 1,500 shares, and I'm thinking, all right, cool, I still have 3,500 shares left in my plan, and I go to hit that execute one more time, and there's nothing available, I'm screwed. I can't even work out my plan to average in better. I'm stuck. So I don't like it. I don't like that. It's not a good plan.
Sean, to answer your question, I found for pre-market and after hours trading, the best being CenterPoint. And I use the DOS trading platform. The only negative to the CenterPoint program is that I can't put an order in overnight because all orders are cleared daily because they are a day trading firm. That's what they want to be. So my swing trade positions, if I got something exciting going on, I'm up at 4 a.m. double checking stuff, re-putting orders in, which is a little tedious. I have found that for smaller accounts, I've used Webull. I hate Webull's customer service, so I've moved quite a bit of money out of Webull, and then the new one I'm using right now, I was telling James about this, is called Moomoo, 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 and I've just started using their platform this month, and I just got a few $1,000s in there, so I'm starting to play with it. But so far, I've liked it, and getting funded, getting set up, and understanding their platform on the desktop and understanding their platform on my phone has been so far so good. So I'll give you guys an update here in another week or so. If somebody asks me about it, I'll give you an update.
All right. So I just want to address there's one more I saw. Sterling McNeil. So this goes back to I'm not going to say the stock ticker's name because I'm not trying to pump it here. But yes. So Sterling writes at James Mason, short version of what you're saying is to buy more shares. I'll let y'all put that two and two together there. So, Todd, that is all I have for today. Do you have anything else?
No, good luck. It's the last day of the month. I'm going to personally, I think I'm not going to trade much today. I want to get out of this month, and I want to start May fresh and clean and ready to roll. So you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you Monday morning.
All right, everybody. Again, like Todd said, it's Friday. Don't start off your weekend bad this early. Trade safe. If you're in profits, it might be worth considering to take profits. You will never know what the weekend will cause to happen. So other than that, y'all have a great weekend, and we will see y'all next Monday, bright and early, for StockCast. So y'all take care and have a good one.